ULTI.TV.
Welcome to ULTI.TV's coverage of the 2012 SA Super League. This is the draft preview show. I'm joined by Thomas Bruce Lee and Sammy Inches Ogden. Thank you for joining me, gentlemen. This draft is shaping up to be an interesting one.
It most certainly is. I think with the absence of Will Christopherson, Hoi Vu, Brett Middleton, and limited access to Joel
Davis.
Oh, Chris Davis as well. Yeah. So no, it should be a pretty tough one to pick. Who's going to go first? A lot of new players out. It's going to be tough to pick who's going to win it.
Yeah. Okay. So that leads us into our first question, gentlemen. Who goes number one?
I'm putting money on Dave Sanderson. He's a talented disc mover. He's a quick player. He's really instrumental in the Ultimate Evolution offense. And I know that a few of the captains have man crush on him already. I think he's going to go number one. He's going to go really early.
Yeah. Well, Dave Sanderson did go number two in SA's fastest man, only beaten by a little bit by Andy Baddix. Now, it doesn't worry you that Dave can't throw backhand?
Look, his scoobers and his flick more than make up for it. As far as I know, most teams haven't really cottoned on to the fact that you just force him backhand and it shuts him down.
Okay. Bruce, who goes number one for you, mate?
Oh, I reckon he might be a big receiver, so probably Ryan Dutch. Although, I don't know, he's not getting any younger, so possibly an Andy Baddix this year.
Yeah,
That's
game
a
call.
pretty game call, but possibly an Andy Baddix, but only because you can't vote for yourself.
Oh, really? Okay. Now, I agree, Bruce. I think a big receiver is going to go first. Probably Ryan Dutch. What about Scott Middleton?
Scotty's a fantastic receiver. He's got big hops, really good read, and plays the deep position really, really well. His issue is that he hasn't been training for the last few months.
Yep.
He hasn't really been doing very much, and I think that's going to impact how successful he is. Whether the captains know that or not is the real thing. And I think a few of the captains are aware of it, so I don't think he's going to get picked at least not in the number one spot. High, but not number one.
Yep. Okay. All right. The next question. Joel Pillar. He's going to be away for 6 of the 9 weeks. He's only playing 3. Do you draft him? And if so, where?
Yeah, you definitely have to draft him. He's a quality player, but look, I'd say 3 definite wins with Joel and your team, almost. Definitely wouldn't go first round, but I would say he's worth a 4th or a 5th round pick, but he'll probably go in the 3rd just because no one wants to go without him.
Yeah, I think I agree with Bruce. You have to draft him. He's too dominant a player in SA to not draft him. I think in terms of 3 definite wins, it's 3 guaranteed not losses, which it sounds a little odd, but it means that you're 3 steps closer. You're 3 steps closer to winning.
Sammy, who performed well in the combine out there?
I think the best performer in the combine was easily Greg Schrader. Great throws, very quick on all the agility drills. Other than him, though, in terms of some more lesser-known names, Scott McKenzie or James Hurley from Adelaide both performed really, really well, I thought. Those would be my 3.
Bruce?
Yep, you just stole mine. Thanks.
Sorry about that.
I think, Scott McKenzie was pretty good. I didn't really know much of him until today, and he's got some pretty good acceleration.
Great hair.
Good hair. Richard Klein, he was pretty quick off the mark. That was good to see.
Yes.
He's
Richard
still,
had some
he's
very
got the
respectable
speed.
times. Yes.
Yep. So another tough one though. A lot of new players. I don't know. Greg, of course, he smashed it in. Also T. I don't want to. What's his actual name?
Tallis Smith.
Tallis Smith. Yeah, he's looking pretty good as well. He'll go high.
Yep. Okay. Who was disappointing in the combine? Sammy?
I don't want to name names. There are a few players who didn't really perform. Not less than expected, just didn't perform, didn't show up.
Yep.
I think probably the biggest underperformer had to be Tim Davis. Tim Davis played
Davis.
Australian under 19s, stuffed around in the combine, didn't impress for my money.
Okay.
It was pretty useless. Wasn't taking it very seriously. I don't know. I don't know if he'll even get picked on this effort.
I personally hope he doesn't. I think it'd be fair to him.
It seemed like he was fairly confident that he was going to get picked, and he didn't need to show up really for the combine.
Yeah. I think it would have been better if he just didn't show up.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. The next topic, the dark horse. Who's the player that gets drafted low for your mind, but is immensely valuable for their team?
I reckon possibly Max Kayon. I think people know him, but he didn't do the combine. The people don't know him that well. So possibly Max Kayon. I don't know if James Hurley will get drafted that high, but he'll be quite good.
I think James Hurley is my one. Very unknown. Performed well in the combine, and I think he might perform well for his team just as a solid sort of player.
Yeah, I think Sean Davis might have a look in on this one. He's a very short-statured guy. He's only 15. He's really young, and he's yet to grow into his body, but he tries really hard on defense, which is something that's fairly rare out of most players. You know, he gets out there and he looks for layout blocks, and when he gets them, it gets him fired up, and then he's trying to get layouts on O, and he's just always
he
buzzing
does bid
around
big.
the disc.
He bids big. So for a little guy, it's a good call.
Okay. The next topic, Mr. Fantasy. Now that we've got Joel leaving, who's going to be the stats whore for the year?
It's usually pretty easy when Joel's around, but no Brett either. I don't know. It's going to be pretty tough to call. I'd say maybe Tallis even.
Really?
He
Putting
plays,
it out there.
He's going to play a lot of deep and a lot of wing, and he's got good hops.
I think it's going to depend on team makeup. I know in the last couple of years it's been the guys which have been either the really primary handlers getting a lot of assists or the deeps getting a lot of blocks. I think if Scott Middleton goes on either Foley or BJ's team, it'll be Scott Middleton.
Yep.
If it's on Morgan or Johnny's team, maybe not so much. I think Morgan's good for a pick.
Yep.
Great throws, massive receiver. Is going to get a lot of blocks.
Yeah, for sure. Even Dutchy or Dennis Shaw. We haven't talked about him at all.
Dennis, the throwaway shine.
He throws it. Just don't let him throw it. And I think
he's been dropping more than he's thrown away lately.
Just make sure he plays D. He'll be all right.
Okay. Well, I think those are two very interesting names there. I agree, Sammy. Morgan is a good pick there, but like you said, it's going to depend on team makeup. If he has to be the dude where he's throwing a lot of discs, he's not going to get this category.
Yeah, I think he needs a handler to take the risks, so he limits his throwaways and can settle into the receiving and defensive game.
Okay. The next question, the lead balloon. Who gets drafted high and is absolutely not worth their value?
Oh, this one's a no-brainer for me.
Yes?
It's Andy Baddocks.
Andy Baddocks.
That's right, Andy Baddocks. That's a bit unfair on Andy. If he's been playing the handler role he's been playing a lot recently, I think it'll be Andy. He's been trying a lot of things, trying his big throws, and some of them aren't pulling off, so it's been raising his throwaways. If he settles into a defensive receiver role, which is where he's traditionally played, I think he won't be so bad. But I'm going with Andy Baddocks as my pick.
Bruce?
Yeah, I think I might go out there again and go with Morgan Llewellyn. I reckon. I think he's going to take a pretty big role handling for this team.
I think the captain's going to not lead by example.
Well, he'll try, and then there'll be a few throwaways. Just for, I think he did get a lot of points last year, so he'd be valued pretty highly. And so I don't know if
Okay, I think I'm going to come back to Tim Davis here. The way he's been approaching the game has been interesting. I think as a player, he's developing with his throws.
Definitely.
And that's leading him to a lot of throwaways. And, Brucey and I can attest to throwing away is important to actually learning how to throw.
I can as well. Don't worry about that.
I think all three of us know a bit about, throwing it away teaches you something. Now, Andy has been trying to move into a handler role. Why, I do not know. The guy is gifted athletically. He should stay downfield. But
hey, what are you saying about handlers?
We're all fat and slow.
Okay, right, yeah.
He's very gifted athletically, and he should stay downfield. Like you say, he's going to go really well if he's playing as a receiver, as a handler. He's still in that phase where he's trying a lot of things. He's throwing a lot of discs away, trying to create those opportunities. And it's just not going to end well from a fantasy perspective. And it may end up costing his team games at the end of the day. Now, the next category is most promising talent. Who do you guys see as being, the most promising guy that could turn into the next Joel now that we're losing him?
The next Joel, big shoes.
Well, the next Hoy.
The next toy.
If they're short statured and a
Slightly
thrower.
smaller shoes. I don't know. I reckon. Actually, we haven't talked about Rob.
Rob
Rob Wyden, yeah.
Rob Wyden,
Hadn't
he's
thought about
not
him.
here. He's injured, and he's not going to be around for the whole thing. So he'll get picked low, I think. But that guy's the quickest guy I've seen, and he's got a Brett Middleton-esque verticals. So I think
he does have.
He's got some pretty good talent. Yeah.
and his throwing's getting pretty good now. So I think
Yep.
he's a chance. He's a chance to get up there.
Yep.
I'm thinking the two guys that won Rookie of the Year this year, either Max Keon or Tyler Smits.
Yep.
Depending on how they pull their throws together and their game style.
Yep.
Both have some opportunities. Tyler's is pretty much around the board. Max is a little more consistent, so it'll be interesting to see how they go.
Yeah.
But I think it's those two.
Yeah, that's a good call, Sammy. All right, now overall teams. What's the secret to winning Super League? Do you think?
Scoring more points than the opposition.
You're an idiot.
Oh, really? You think?
Definitely, that's it. That's all you need to do.
That sounds like an AFL coach.
He's playing all 4 quarters.
Playing full 4 quarters, kicking more goals. Yeah.
I don't know. Luck.
You like?
Luck definitely comes
If
into
you
it.
get a couple of injuries to your good players, it's pretty much all over.
Yep.
But bit of an X factor, really. You can have teams that don't have any good stars, but they just come together. And
Yeah, they play.
I
well
think
there.
consistency across the board is if you don't have any weak links, if you've got every player on your team is going to do their job, they're going to go out, run hard on D, you get 3-on-0, not make stupid throwaways, not make stupid turnovers, that's going to win it.
Yep.
And if that means you've got lesser superstars, but you've got a more consistent team, I think.
Yep.
That's
And
probably
so a superstar team as opposed to a team of superstars.
yeah.
You say that, but then, Joel's team just wins it off of Joel's back.
So the last 3 leagues have been won off 7-2, 7-2, and 9-0 marks. What do you think is going to happen this league? Are we going to see a repeat of that, or is it going to be a 6-3, or maybe even a 5-4 coming down on goal difference?
No, it's going to be definitely a lot more even without all the big names. I don't know. I think might come down to the last game. It's maybe a 3-way
Putting
tie.
it down to the last game.
Yep.
The first Super League was actually won on the last game. That came down to one team relying on another team beating a third team for them to win.
Yep.
I think this year it's going to be a lot closer. There's no dominating presence of Joel.
Yep.
Not for as long. So I think it's going to come down to sort of the 6 or 7 game mark.
Yeah, and there's no Hoy, there's no Brett, there's no other dominating names either. We've lost.
There's Morgan, so we'll see how big a difference he makes.
Yeah, exactly. And Ben Foley from the Peanut Seats. So thank you, gentlemen, for your time. That ends our preview show. I'll see you in about an hour's time after the draft, and we'll talk about who got picked where. Thank you.
All right. Let's do this draft.
Doesn't matter, guys. He's a paid receiver. Oh, wait.
You going or am I going?
I'll just look at one of you.
All right, you go.
We think the same.
Okay. Bloopers.